Dear students, I am Dr. Barkha Rohatgi welcomes you all in the next lecture of change of variables. In this lecture, I am going to discuss the practice problems of change of variables. The contents of this lecture are, I am discussing here with the practice problems of changing of Cartesian coordinates to polar coordinates, changing variables from Cartesian coordinates to spherical polar coordinates, changing variables from Cartesian coordinates to cylindrical polar coordinates, and in the last, changing variables from Cartesian coordinates to UV coordinates under some self-defined transformation. First, I am starting with the transformation that follows changing Cartesian coordinates to polar coordinates. Here I have taken an example to evaluate this integration by changing it into polar coordinates. First of all, to change in polar coordinates, we have to decide the region of integration in Cartesian coordinates. So, we see that the limits of y are variable and the limits of x are constant. The limits of x are from 0 to 2 and that's of y are 0 to under root 2x minus x square. On simplifying the limits of y, we get this circle, that is x square plus y square equals to 2x. This circle is the circle that is shifted on x-axis. Alright, so the region of integration starts from x equals to 0. What is x equals to 0? X equals to 0 is nothing but y-axis and goes to x equals to 2. And the limit of y starts from y equals to 0, that is x-axis, to the circle x square plus y square equals to 2x. So, our region of integration is upper half of the circle x square plus y square equals to 2x. Here I have shown the region of integration by green colored dots. Here we have variable limits of y. So I have chosen a vertical strip here that shows that the variable limits are along y-axis. Now applying the polar transformation, we have x equals to r cos theta and y equals to r cos sin theta, so that in polar coordinates the circle x square plus y square equals to 2x reduces to the form r equals to 2 cos theta. And we have learned in curve tracing that the circle r equals to 2 cos theta is the circle that is shifted on the line theta equals to 0 or initial line. Now the region of integration is shown here with blue dots. We are taken this part, upper half of the circle r equals to 2 cos theta. Here the limit of theta varies from theta equals to 0 to theta equals to pi by 2 and the limit of r varies from O dash to the circumference of the circle r equals to 2 cos theta. The value of r at O dash is 0 and at the surface of the circle the value of r varies according to the equation of the circle, that is r equals to 2 cos theta. So here we have variable limits for r and constant limit for theta. So after changing the coordinates from Cartesian to polar, we will first integrate with respect to r and after that we will integrate with respect to theta, because first we always integrate with respect to variable limit and after that we always integrate with respect to constant limit. So here the integration changes to double integration r cos theta upon r and dx dy changes to r dr d theta. The limit of r equals to 0 to 2 cos theta, and that of theta r 0 to pi by 2. First, as I have described, that we are to integrate with respect to variable limit, and that is r. So on integrating with respect to r, we have r square by 2, and putting lower and upper limits, we get a function of theta, that is 2 cos cube theta d theta under the limits of integration theta equals to 0 to pi by 2. And finally, we get the resultant integration as 4 by 3. Here I have used this particular formula to simplify my integration. This formula is known as Wallis formula. How we apply this formula? We can apply this formula when we have limits for theta from 0 to pi by 2 and function as sin to the power n theta or cos to the power n theta. This can be applied according as n is even or n is odd. So here the value of n is odd, that is 3. So we have the integration as 2 by 3, because here the value of n is 3, that is an odd number. So our final result is 4 by 3 for this integration that we have done very easily using polar coordinates. Next we come to the cylindrical coordinates. Here I have taken an example of triple integration z x square plus y square dx dy dz over the volume of the cylinder x square plus y square equals to 1, that is intercepted by the plane z equals to 2 and z equals to 3. In previous lecture, I have told you that the equation of the cylinder is always in the form of a circle bounded by the planes that are defined by the values of z. So, the complete equation of the cylinder is always written in this manner: the equation of the circle along with z-axis. So, here we have integration I equals to triple integration z x square plus y square dx dy dz, that we have to change in cylindrical polar coordinates. As earlier, cylindrical polar coordinates are x equals to r cos phi, y equals to r sin phi, z equals to z, and x square plus y square equals to r square. So here we have x square plus y square equals to 1. So the limits of r are 0 to 1. And for the full volume of the cylinder, I have already told you that the value of phi is from 0 to 2 pi, and the value of z is given in the question, that is from 2 to 3. Also, function reduces to z remains z in cylindrical coordinates, and x square plus y square becomes r square. Next, the Jacobian of xyz with respect to r phi z comes out to be r. So, here dx, dy, dz are replaced by r, dr, d phi, dz. First of all, we are integrating here with respect to r. So, we get r to the power 4 upon 4, and the limits are 0 to 1 for r. Then we get 1 by 4 z equals to 2 to 3 z. When we integrate this with respect to phi, we get a phi and the limit are 0 to 2 pi. Now we integrate it with respect to z, and finally we get the value as 5 pi by 4. So this is an example of changing Cartesian coordinates to cylindrical coordinates. So using cylindrical coordinates, see how easy integration becomes. That's why I have told you that changing of variable is nothing but a technique or a tool that makes our multiple integration much easier. Now we come to spherical polar coordinates. Here I have taken an example first of all for the full volume of the sphere. In next example, I will discuss this for an positive octant. Here we are using spherical polar coordinates, and you know the transformation for spherical polar coordinates are x equals to r sin theta cos phi, y equals to r sin theta sin phi, and z equals to r cos theta, so that x square plus y square plus z square becomes r square. So the given integral becomes I equals to triple integration, replacing z by r cos theta, we get r square cos square theta, and dx dy dz are replaced by Jacobian of xyz with respect to r theta phi, that is r square sin theta and dr d theta d phi. Now come to the limits. Here the radius of the sphere is 1, so the value of r varies from 0 to 1, and as we are taking integration over the full volume of the sphere, so the limits of theta varies from 0 to pi, and that's of phi from 0 to 2 pi. Now continuing our integration as previous questions, first of all I have integrated here with respect to r first. So then we get r to the power 5 upon 5, and putting the values of limits we have 1 by 5 cos square theta sin theta d theta d phi. After that I have changed the function cos square theta into sin theta by 1 minus sin square theta to make my integration easier. Now we have function of theta as sin theta minus sin cube theta. Look here, I have limits theta equals to 0 to pi by 2, and in the previous example I have told you that in the case of theta equals to 0 to pi by 2, and if we have function in the form of sin to the power n theta or cos to the power n theta, we have a very useful formula, that is Wallis formula, that I have already written over there. So use that formula. For first function, this is the value of n is 1, that is odd, and for the second one the value of n is 3, that is also odd. So the integration of sin theta is easy. The integration of sin theta we all know, that is minus cos theta, so I don't need to apply Wallis formula here. I have just integrated sin theta to minus cos theta, and for sin cube theta I applied Wallis formula and find the value directly as 2 by 3, and the answer is 4 pi by 15. So look here how Wallis formula help us to integrate functions in the limit 0 to pi by 2 very easily when the functions are in the form of sin theta and cos theta. So always remember Wallis formula, that will help you in many of integrations. Now we come to the very interesting concept of positive octant or first octant that I have discussed you in the previous lecture. Here is an example of positive octant, and this one is for spherical polar coordinates. Similarly you can apply this for cylindrical polar coordinates. I have already described you how we take the limits for positive octant for a sphere, also for a cylinder. The question here is to evaluate triple integration xyz dx dy dz over the positive octant of the sphere x square plus y square plus z square equals to b square by changing into spherical polar coordinates. So I have already mentioned what are spherical polar coordinates. In them x equals to r sin theta cos phi, y equals to r sin theta sin phi, and z equals to r cos theta. Also the Jacobian is r square sin theta. So here talking about positive octant, you all remember what is positive octant? All values starts from 0 and take the limit in positive sense. So r takes the limit from 0 to b, theta takes the limit from 0 to pi by 2, also phi takes the limits from 0 to pi by 2. Now integrating first with respect to r, we have b to the power 6 upon 6 after putting the limits of r, and now we have functions of theta and phi in the integration. So we have here limits theta equals to 0 to pi by 2 and also phi equals to 0 to pi by 2. When we integrate with respect to theta, phi is considered as constant, and when we integrate with respect to phi, the theta is considered to be a constant, and in constant limits we can integrate with respect to any of the variables. So first integrate with respect to theta, consider sin phi cos phi as constant and change sin square theta to cos square theta, simplify the function, and after that you will get a function of phi, and you have limits from 0 to pi by 2. Here again I have applied Wallis formula and get the result b to the power 6 upon 48. Now we come to the general transformation, that is called UV transformation. Why this is called general transformation? Because this is not some standard transformation. This transformation is determined by us. Us means who is designing the problem. So in this problem we have transformation x minus y equals to u and x plus y equals to v, and we have to show that double integration sin x minus y upon x plus y over the region R is integrated with respect to xy and gives us 0. And what is the region R? Region R is the region bounded by coordinate axis, that means x-axis, y-axis, and the line x plus y equals to 1 in first quadrant. So x-axis gives us y equals to 0, y-axis gives us x equals to 0, and x plus y equals to 1 is the line AB as shown in figure. So the dotted region shows the region of integration, that is a right angle triangle in xy plane. Now using the transformation we get Jacobian of uv with respect to xy as to be 2. Now we have x equals to 0 and y equals to 0. Using the transformation that was given in the question, we have u equals to minus v and u equals to v. Also we are given that x plus y equals to 1, that gives us v equals to 1. So while plotting these lines in uv plane, we get u equals to minus v, u equals to v, and v equals to 1, lines that are shown in figure, and the dotted portion, that is yellow dotted portion, is our region of integration. Alright, here the region of integration is bounded by lines u equals to minus v, u equals to v, and v equals to 1, and the horizontal line is taken parallel to u axis. So we have variable limits for u and constant limits for v. The variable limits of u are from left to right. From left the region is bounded by the line u equals to minus v, and for the right the region is bounded by the line u equals to v. So the limits for u are minus v to v. Also from v we go from downward to upward. The downward point of intersection is at v equals to 0 and the upward region is bounded by the line v equals to 1. So we have limits of v as from 0 to 1. Now integrating we get what we get? We get minus cos 1 plus cos minus 1. What is the value of cos minus theta? Cos theta is a even or odd function? Cos theta is an even function. So cos minus 1 comes out to be cos 1, and we get the value of the integration equals to 0, that we are to prove as asked us in the question. So these are some transformations discussed with you in the previous lecture, and in this lecture I have discussed almost all type of problems that you may encounter while practicing these type of transformations. In next lecture I will be back with you with the applications of change of variables. So we'll see you in next lecture. Thank you very much till then.